The Loud House is one of the hottest cartoons on Nickelodeon. The story of a large family with 10 girls and 1 boy made us laugh. But what would happen if the Loud family switched genders? Wait until you see what Lincoln would look like as a girl. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos on the Loud House. Now join us as we explore 10 The Loud House characters reimagined as opposite genders. Luan Loud. Let's start with Luan Loud, whose name in the alternate gender-bent universe is Lane. The Loud House actually did a whole episode on what the characters would look like as opposite genders, but we're investigating matters even further. The internet is full of talented artists who are also part of the Loud House fandom. This means we get to see even more unique versions of what these characters would look like as opposite genders. Check out Luan. As a 14-year-old girl and one of the oldest in the family, Luan is quite the comedian. She's full of bad puns and sometimes terrible jokes, but we adore her for her sense of humor. Every family needs a Luan in their life, or Lane, her male version. Check out what Lane would look like. The first picture belongs to Cruella DeVille 84 on DeviantArt. Lane has short brown hair, yellow shorts with straps, a white shirt, and the cutest pink bow tie we have ever seen. Isn't it just the most adorable thing ever? And here is Lane Loud by Brandon Vance, looking terribly angry. He's still rocking that bow tie, though. Luan's character was inspired by the creator's sister. Did you know that Chris Savino has 5 sisters and their names all start with the letter L? His family is just as large as the Loud family, and we bet he also sometimes wished he had more brothers than sisters. Lucy Loud. Lucy Loud as a boy is a very interesting sight. This emo-looking child is one of the sassiest 8-year-olds we have ever seen. Lucy is moody and grumpy, and she already acts like she's in her teens. If you have a lot of siblings, you've probably had at least one of them go through this same phase as Lucy. Her alternate boy version is called Lars Loud, and he's just as snarky and moody. Unlike Lucy, Lars is slightly more aggressive and doesn't get along with Lincoln. JBoy32X from DeviantArt also created an interesting version of Lucy as a boy. And check this out. He also showed what Lucy and Lars would look like as a couple. It's a strange thought, considering they're basically the same person, but for some reason, this illustration is really cute. If you've ever wondered where the creativity behind the Loud House characters came from, look no further than the creator's family. Chris Savino's family shares many of the names with the Loud House characters. 2 sisters are even named after his family's wiener dogs. We'll tell you more about that later. However, Lucy's name is a baby name Chris would have picked if he had a baby girl. How cute is that? Speaking of cute, we can't decide who we like better, Lucy or Lars. Leni Loud. Next on our list is Leni Loud. The 16-year-old Leni is overprotective, loving, and somewhat ditzy, but we still love her. As the second oldest in the Loud family, she is known to show a lot of love to her younger siblings. In an alternate universe, a boy version of Leni is named Lonnie. The two share similar characteristics, but Lonnie isn't such a family person, and he doesn't really care what happens to his younger siblings. As Leni is a typical girly girl, this transition is pretty interesting. Check out the official version of Lonnie. It seems that he replaced Leni's round shades for slightly cooler-looking sunglasses, and he's totally rocking them. Here are a couple more versions of the character, created by a DeviantArt user, AS Russia. Lonnie is definitely looking sassier than Leni. Here's another adorable example of what Leni Loud would look like. This cute illustration belongs to @LarsLoudSmellsGood on Instagram. Lonnie definitely still has Leni's ditzy and naive characteristics, but what he doesn't have is the love for his siblings. Did you know that the Loud House characters were originally imagined as rabbits? Leni's name didn't come from Chris Savino's family. It was a name Chris gave one of the rabbit characters, and it was originally a boy name, based on a character in Of Mice and Men. Chris then changed the spelling and turned it into a woman's name, Lola Loud. This 6-year-old pageant queen is one of those siblings that's bound to get on everyone's nerves. Like a true princess, Lola is bossy and bratty, but her antics are also totally hilarious. It's hard to imagine what this girly girl would look like as a typical boy, right? Well, when the Loud House reimagined all Loud sisters as boys, they decided to call Lola Lex. Lex is completely different from this pageant queen. Although he's still a prince and he's totally spoiled, Lex is also mean to everyone, including Lincoln. Check him out. Sure, he has a crown on his head, but unlike Lola, Lex isn't sporting a long pink dress. A DeviantArt user, Ian Kyle 1189, also drew what Lola and Lex would look like as separate people. We can't decide which one we prefer, the spoiled but funny Lola or the spoiled but mean Lex. We've previously mentioned that Lola Loud has a lot in common with Honey Boo Boo. They're both pageant queens, but don't you think they also kind of look alike? And yes, Lola was actually named after Chris Savino's wiener dog. It looks like Chris really did manage to turn his life into an actual cartoon. cartoon, although we doubt Lola or her male version have any qualities that are similar to dogs. At least we hope they don't. We can't mention Lola without also talking about her tomboy twin, Lana. The two are already alternate versions of themselves, but Lana also has a male version, and his name is Leaf. Leaf and Lana are quite similar and share the same personalities. However, Leaf is slightly more aggressive and mean, especially towards Lincoln. Fans have also created their own versions of Leaf Loud, including this one, which belongs to Luis Olazabal. Leaf and Lex Loud are posing together, and they both look like they're up to no good. We were always fans of Lana's tomboyish look, and Leaf is still rocking that red snapback. We also love this illustration of Leaf Loud, done by a DeviantArt user named The Total Kid. Just like Lana, Leaf is missing some of his front teeth and rocking those denim overalls. Although Lola was named by a wiener dog, Lana was fortunate enough to be named by one of Chris Savino's sisters. Did you know that a lot of the shenanigans actually come from Chris's real-life experiences? He claims that his siblings have enough sense of humor to never get upset over what they see on the show. However, Lana Loud has so many crazy moments, it makes us wonder what the real Lana was like as a child. Lori Loud. As the oldest of the 11 siblings, everyone expects Lori to be the overprotective and loving big sister. Well, while Lori does have her overprotective moments, she also always makes sure she lets her siblings know who's the oldest. If you have an older sibling, we're pretty sure you know what it's like to be constantly told you're younger than they are. Lori establishes dominance and treats her siblings like they're her personal helpers, but her personality still isn't as mean as her boy version, which is called Loki. When Lincoln wished to have brothers instead of sisters, we bet he never really wished for Loki. Loki is bossy, but his looks aren't that much different from Lori's. Check out the official Loki designed by the Loud House creators. We all know Lori is a total flirt, and Loki is the same. DeviantArt's Makiki MR also illustrated a fantastic version of Loki accidentally dropping his phone. And this talented DeviantArt user named Brandon Vance showed us what Loki and Lori would look like if they ever got married. Lori is also the name of one of Chris Savino's sisters, but Chris did note that their namesakes don't match their personas. It's good to know Chris's older sister was probably nicer than Lori. Lisa Loud. Lisa Loud is probably one of our favorite characters on the show. She was responsible for bringing together the world of the Loud House with the Fairly Odd Parents. Her clever mind is on a whole other level, which is probably why she won a Nobel Peace Prize at just 4 years old. She's pretty incredible, right? Well, wait until you see her alternate male version. Lisa in a boy version is called Levi. Levi is just as talented as Lisa, but he tends to be a bit harsher and aggressive, especially toward Lincoln. Levi has short hair, but the rest of him is pretty similar to Lisa. However, we think that Levi also looks like another popular cartoon character. Can you see the resemblance between Levi Loud and Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory? The two could basically be the same characters. The Loud House fan on DeviantArt also created an amazing version of Levi and replaced his round glasses with slightly cooler looking shades. Makiki MR also drew his own version of Levi. This one is a bit taller, and we can definitely see that he looks like Dexter. Could you cope with having a 4-year-old sister who's as smart as Lisa? We can't decide if we prefer Lisa or Levi Loud, but we're sure that if they both existed in the same universe, they'd come up with some amazing experiments. Lynn Loud. The 13-year-old Lynn is one of the most athletic and sporty characters on the show. But when you have so many siblings, you usually turn things into a competition. Lynn is super competitive and likes to win at all times. If you have siblings, you probably have at least one competitive sibling that does this too. Lynn is the only character on the show that got the same name when she became a boy. The male Lynn Loud has a similar personality, same clothing, and just slightly shorter hair. He's just as competitive and maybe just a bit more abrasive, especially towards Lincoln. We wonder why Chris Savino decided to leave his name the same. Speaking of Chris, did you know that his family loves that they're now part of such a big show? He said he's always getting text messages whenever someone watches an episode. But the inspiration didn't just come from Chris's family. The show's writers also frequently discuss things they used to do as children and then use it in the show. Lynn is also the name of one of his sisters, but unlike her cartoon version, we hope that the real Lynn cuts some slack to other non-competitive siblings. On the other hand, no sibling relationship is complete without a bit of rivalry, right? Luna Loud. The Loud House has so many interesting characters, it's very hard to pick your favorite. Luna is also one of those people that stand out from the crowd and her insanely large family. This 15-year-old loves rock music, and you'll catch her singing popular rock songs throughout the show. And although she's loud and sometimes wild, Luna is one of the most caring out of all the siblings. Her looks are unique, and she can rock a purple outfit like nobody else. You can't help but love Luna's attitude. Her alternate male version is called Luke, and although he looks the same, his attitude is slightly more aggressive. Honestly, we're glad Lincoln has 10 sisters instead of 10 brothers. Michael Eddy drew another version of Luke and even paired him up with Lane Loud, Luan's boy version. Speaking of Luke Loud, did you know that he's played by Greg Sipes, who's an actual musician? You might remember his voice from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where he played Michelangelo. Luna is always singing rock songs, but imagine if Luke Loud Loud would be there to sing the lower range songs with her. The two could create the ultimate rock band, and we'd be the first ones to buy their album. And we have a feeling they would title their album after their last name. Seems fitting, right? Lincoln Loud. If you've watched the One of the Boys episode of this show, you'll know that Lincoln is the one responsible for turning his sisters into boys. As the only boy of the family, Lincoln has a lot on his plate, and we really feel bad for him because it's definitely not easy. But what would happen if Lincoln wasn't actually a boy in the first place? Check him out. This illustration is done by Cruella DeVille 84, and it's absolutely fabulous. A female version of Lincoln has longer hair, a blue skirt, an orange blouse, and earrings. In the official Loud House episode, Lincoln's name as a girl is Linka. Did you know that Lincoln is actually the only character with more than 4 letters in his name? When the characters were first created, they were rabbits, which is why Lincoln is also the only one that was left with unique white hair. We haven't seen much of the girl version of Linka, but Dan McCuman on DeviantArt also gave us a good idea of what Linka would look like. As a bonus, check out a female version of Lincoln's best friend Clyde, called Claire McBride. After that episode, we're pretty sure Lincoln stopped wishing for brothers and started to enjoy the crazy life with his 10 sisters. What about you? Do you wish you could have a sister or a brother? If you love the Loud House, don't forget to check out videos like 10 The Loud House characters in real life. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. See you next time.